Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best.
Adaptable, all capital, label radical yet rational. A tactical approach is palpable if this animal is fallible, but that conclusion is laughable. So with for all detachable from the mandible, you see it now.
On social media platforms today, quality content often goes unnoticed. On Den, users get paid for the creation, evaluation, and curation of quality content. Content creators are rewarded based upon the engagement and reach of their post or comment. Content evaluators are rewarded based upon the speed and results of their predictions about which content will trend or go viral. Community owners are rewarded based on engagement within their community. On Den, quality content pays. Roles of a denizen. A content creator is a user that creates posts and is rewarded based on the quality of their content. A content evaluator is a user that helps assess the quality of content and enforces community standards. The evaluator is effectively taking part in a marketplace to curate content and is rewarded for early evaluation. A content consumer is a user that wishes to find and consume the most valuable content in a given subject area or within a community. A lair owner is a person holding tokenized ownership of all or part of a community lair. Owners are rewarded with a portion of all mining activity happening within their lair. Owners are incentivized to build the best community of content creators and evaluators.
While nuclear weapons states can exert unlimited violence over even millions of individuals, strong cryptography means that a state, even by exercising unlimited violence, cannot violate the intent of individuals to keep secrets from them. Cryptography is the ultimate form of non-violent direct action.
And welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Den.Social DENDAO meeting, the first one for the year, 2026. It is January 7th, and I am the Emperor of the DENDAO, or the leader of the DENDAO, elected position. Title was chosen because what we have here on DEN is a governance system, a governance model. And remember, Den.Social is a location where every post is essentially a poly market. Every post is a prediction market because every post is voted upon by the users. And those users then can earn matter, which is a token that is on Den.Social. This is a meeting, so you're more than welcome to join. My apologies, my nose is very stuffed up and it's difficult to talk or breathe. But I'll try to work through this meeting. But you're welcome to join us here at the meeting in Den.Social post on, and also I believe on YouTube. There is a link to join the meeting, and I can bring you on. And microphone, of course, would be necessary, but to join the meeting. But camera is optional. And Today's meeting, we're going to talk kind of real quick. Let's just jump into the agenda here. It is current open governance votes, open did support issues for the MTR payouts, obviously, revenue generation, maybe to fix the MTR payout problem, and any open QA that's out there. So let's go right into governance votes. I have proposed various descriptions for different layers that don't have a description. And I'm not sure if those are automated or not, but if they pass and they're automated, then it'll just automatically happen. If it's something that require someone to go in and physically do, then obviously even if they pass, then they're not going to happen. World Blockchain Roundtable had its proposal for the themes for the month of January. That is been resolved, but it's still just showing just that I voted for it. So that has to do with the governance, and that basically covers what's out there on the governance models. Open did support issues, which is obviously the payout. There are no postings. The last posting was something that I agreed to from Dusko BGD, who said he knows that, we're still working on this issue for payouts. So nothing has changed there. If you need more information about the payouts, I encourage you to go to this posting here on did support. Just look for this image, and it explains what our situation is. Currently, the devs are working on other issues at hand for Dragonchain and other paid customers, and there's a limited amount of devs. There's a limited amount of resources. Essentially, during the fight for the SEC government, the U.S. government, SEC, that drained all of our resources, all of our money, shall we say, that was allocated for ongoing DIN maintenance, support, etc. And right now, the MTR linkage is broken for the payouts. There are still earnings that are being taken place, just the payouts are not going through. The matter is being generated every day or every seventh day. So it's just that they're not being allocated and sent to each of the wallets of the users. So nothing has changed there for the DIN support. Which brings into revenue generation question that I'm proposing to the audience and to those members, my fellow denizens. Do we try to create a prediction layer and post a lot of things? Is this AI or is this human? And do we maybe try to gather other people to come and post items? Is this AI or is it human? And maybe that might generate some revenue by getting more people involved. That is the AI detection layer that I'm talking about. I'm going to circle back to this prediction layer. Governance management. That's something that Den.Social does very well. Each layer, remember, is community owned, and each layer has a governance system where you can vote on proposals and implement them. The other option is, rebranding into a name proposed by Joe, which was DePlatform. Hey, Joe.
Sorry, I'm late.
No worries. You can tell I am so congested. I'm fighting to breathe.
Sorry, man.
Oh, it's all right. It's tired, man. The cedar is getting worse for me. I don't know why.
Oh, I thought it would be like the what are they? The red heifers or something?
Oh, red heifers? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe the.
Yeah, I wear red, as the emperor. Yeah, maybe you should switch to purple, but I do wear red in honor of the red heifers. I have my red, goblet here, and that drinks my coffee and tea in salute of the red Texas heifers. Anyway,
right.
But continuing on, the question is revenue generation, and the last option was video option and rebranding DePlatform. But going back to this one, I did skip the prediction layer.
Yes.
And I got a lot of information update for you on that, Joe, if you don't mind me just kind of
Cool.
shooting from the hip and tell you what I've come up with. It has been something that's been exciting for me to take a look at, and has kind of charged my, re-energize my batteries, because Den.Social is already a prediction market. It's already incentivizing human behavior on every post, and it is a prediction market on every post. So converting it to a yes, no, or an up, down, or kind of a bilateral choice, a binary choice, is essentially what prediction market is. Now, everything in a prediction market, like with Polymarket and Kashi and others, is it moves it to $1, and individuals are waging on current events to $1, and those are like shares. And so you could say buy a 26% share and sell it at 30% share. And all it did was that the prediction went from 26 cents to 30 cents, or a 30% likelihood that it passed. Well, DIN could do something like that with what we almost have in place already. And so I've been digging into this quite a bit. Over the past year, I've had a lot of long conversations with AI and fed, the white paper to the AI in ChatGPT and Grok, and looked at what options do we have. And that was my post here that I did a little bit a while ago. This is 3 seconds ago. Let me refresh. It was 39 minutes ago. Bear with me, sorry. It basically was asking, all right, given all these long conversations I've had with you, Grok, you tell me, what do you think is the fastest, easiest way that takes the less amount of lift or investor funds to maybe generate some revenue for enhancements, just maintenance, for Den.Social. And knowing that it's already downloaded the white paper and my conversations with it, I did post everything here, but it says that in its view that the prediction stands out as the highest likely place for substantial revenue and easiest way to implement effectively. And here's why. It's because, well, that's what DIN is, and it's been an explosion in the marketplace, in the crypto space, for Polymarket handling over $1 billion in volume in recent elections, generating millions in fees. And Den.Social's existing voting and curation mechanics makes this a natural fit. I have to agree with that. And it's saying that there's all kinds of different ways we can look at, but maybe generating on fees, on bets and resolutions, and could generate some steady income for Den.Social. And but it did, for instance, Den.Social, the crowd Web3 social landscape by drawing on its users to centralized platforms seeking uncentralized betting, and compared to others, et cetera, et cetera. So in its opinion was the easiest way to generate revenue was, it's saying Chainlink oracles, but we could have the users do the, and then the DENDAO, if they don't, the users could close the bet, and or shall we say the resolution, whatever, was the weather in Chicago going to hit 55 degrees today or not, or next week or whatever, and they could close it, and then the winnings would be allocated, whatever. But the idea was it was a low barrier compared to video hosting, which has heavy storage and bandwidth investment, and AI detection is an ongoing model trading that would work well with DIN. But again, we would have to advertise, and where the advertising dollar is going to go to get people to trade, to come to DIN to determine if something is AI or is it human made. even though we already have existing incentives for that.
Yeah.
So, and again, its idea was to kickstart a pilot prediction layer, low stakes tied to Den.Social's communities, promoting via on-platform bounties, allocation of 20-30% of fees to dev for stability, and if it takes off in future expansions. I actually did a lot of conversations with both ChatGPT and Grok. Those are the two that I primarily use, about handling fees, handling resolution, handling support, handling all kinds of things to try to gear it up to develop a white paper, and getting close to that.
Yeah.
And keeping in mind the existing structure, so it wasn't a heavy lift and a giant reprogramming and a giant UI change and all those kinds of things, which would require a lot of money, which we don't have, obviously, and or to be able to shop it around for some investment and for shares in the DENDAO. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where it's at. I have a lot of more details in that realm of prediction or whatever, but this is just kind of a general overview. I thought it was kind of interesting that both Grok and ChatGPT both suggested, based off of what they know, what I've fed it, but based off of the white paper and how its mechanics work, is that you already essentially have a prediction market, just expanded into the prediction market that most people are accustomed to. And you already have, I think it was Grok that said that you're already rewarding in your, in terms of matter based on earlier votes if you vote early. So if you vote early on a prediction, then you would get a bigger reward. And again, it would be based off of that 1,000 matter mint per day, and which prediction or which posting gathered the most attention on the platform will earn the most matter, et cetera, et cetera. So
Right.
I thought it was pretty good. Trying to minimize the cost, the lift.
Yeah. Yep.
Conversion.
Yep. And
so
should we have? Should we have separate papers for each of those?
Yeah, those. I think we should
proposals.
Yeah,
because that way they could be, limited, and I know the DePlatform might be a pretty big one because it had some economic shifts and stuff too.
Right.
Governance wouldn't be that bad. Mostly it would be some
marketing.
legwork. And marketing and there would have to be an interface for people to come in and sign up, create their own layer, self-service, pay whatever, and then we'd have to figure out how to standardize. I mean, the token-based vote is simple, and a lot of orgs would just want that, but behavior side is a little more involved. So
right. ChatGPT said that, if I don't remember, ChatGPT suggested that was its second choice, was the governance management, and going towards kind of a B2B kind of business groups or associations that needed it.
Because it could be open source. It could be an open source project. It could be a neighborhood org. It could be it could be a club. It could be a business. It could be a corporation. That would
the
all make
question
sense.
was, it didn't know how much customization it would be required for each group, so it didn't know how much fees would be required, and if you started small groups might not have a lot of money to go towards it and would opt for spreadsheets, which we know where the spreadsheet problem is. It's just not a good. It's
now if you did a mix, like my thoughts, at least top of head, would be base level cheap would be token based. And, if you are if you're a publicly traded company, it's a different price than if you're a neighborhood club or something like that, or a
Right.
chess club or something. But in those cases, it would mostly be one token per user. And in some cases, if it's something tied to, no, this is the company and this person owns 20%, and then okay, then you distribute tokens that way for the votes. But for the behavior side, which is harder to standardize, you need a way to get the input in. I mean, the input we would have access to inside a DEN would be votes and other participation, that you've posted. If that is something that they want to reward, and it might not, but somebody answering a question for a new member would be something that should be rewarded, probably. So something like that would be good. The ones that would be hard are external things, attendance at at public gatherings. Let's say we have a meeting. So did you show up? We mark you, somehow have to mark you into a system that it can track. The others would be other contributions. How do you integrate those? So,
and that's a big problem for a lot of groups, because they'll say, well, you're really not participating. You're not adding to this, and why should you have that vote? Or you weren't even in the last meeting. How are you informed to vote? Where there's all kinds of can of worms where people are doing those things, and that's a beautiful part that our governance model has, is you could add those behaviors that are monitored and are checked off, that would validate the vote or validate the person's input.
Yeah, and frankly, we could probably standardize it by saying, okay, you define the behaviors, and they'll just have like some key, like attendance or something else. And we would give you an API. So if you have a system where you're using something that could track it, then it would be able to communicate directly and post, from a known source, the results of, a meeting or something. And otherwise, to make it really simple, we would just have an interface where you could enter it, and it would be kind of like a spreadsheet. You'd say, okay, Jim was here, Jason was here. And then in a meeting, you would just have that pulled up, and you would just actually take attendance. Done. Right.
Yeah.
So that would work, and that would be pretty straightforward. Anyway, so it's all doable. Right. And trying to think if there's anything else. I mean, what was the first one? So if this is governance.
AI detection layer, or an AI detection function to generate revenue. They all scored that pretty low, and I did too, just because there's a lot of free ones out there. And we don't have a lot of users, and we've lost a lot of users because there's no MTR payout right now. But you're competing too much with a free market out there. And you don't have the reputation yet as a go-to place for wisdom of the crowd. So that's why
we've seen other blockchain systems that did similar to so much freaking spam calls. Similar, where trying to tie AI in, and they haven't really taken off either, right? I don't know if there's much of a market for that yet. I mean, maybe there would be, but it's like you said, you can.
The AI detection market as a whole is growing significantly because people want to know, was this human or was this AI? And where can I validate if this video I watched on YouTube or TikTok was AI or not? And so even if we could post a whole bunch of links to videos and have the community vote AI or human with just a tag, we have that capability right now. To be honest with you, we wouldn't even have to do anything different, maybe other than create a layer just for that. and maybe as some kind of search function, but
And
again,
that seems like if we were marketing this, that would just be a feature that we might brag about, because it would just be probably plugged in anywhere. You can say, hey,
right.
I think that what you posted is created by AI, and then then people
And so it's a growing concern for people out there. Was this real or not real? Was this true or not? It's like community notes on X, right? But we just don't have the numbers on Den.Social, I think, to make this as a go-to place for validation of human or AI. So I don't see revenue in it other than like you said, maybe a feature to bring people to Den, but I don't see it as a revenue generator.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I kind of see it.
Yeah.
I think our governance is outstanding. It has a lot of potential.
I don't know how big that market is, right?
Yeah, that's just it. And this on a small scale, even a homeowners association can use it, but some other small nonprofit groups, a lot of them just use spreadsheets. Google
see, I mean, the
Docs.
problem with spreadsheets is they are manipulatable and not transparent, usually, depending. And
could agree more. There's a need for it, but some people, aren't going to see that. A little bit more sophisticated crowd, brand new projects, a new meme coin or a new project out there that has investors. They are going to, probably want something that is has a DAO, and has, votes that are unmanipulated. So they have there's a strong need to that. I don't know where you find those folks that are developing projects, or how much they're willing to, to pay for something like that. But I don't know. But going back to your original point, though, Joe, I think you're right. We need to come up with some kind of write-up for each of these.
Yeah, I mean, it could be 1 to 3 pages would probably be good for the top level of it, and all of the effects that would be a part of that change, and we can say, hey, we could take a stab at it. Again, the video platform one is the biggest amount of work, but it also might be the most appropriate for just the people, how do I say, attractiveness to a general audience, right? And I say that because I don't think that we will, let's say we had this in place, I don't think that having videos, having native video streaming or decentralized video streaming would make a difference. What I do think would make a difference is having video streaming as one of the things, but it's also content that would be with tokenized ownership, right? Which I think that's the thing that would be most interesting and unique, and may have the biggest impact, because even if you're not censored, you still don't own your content. If it's on YouTube, it's still, they could take it down at any time for any reason. And they can essentially change the rules on you, as they have several times for monetization, if that matters. Some groups, some channels doesn't matter, but largely, most channels on YouTube, that's the whole reason they're there. So
right now there's such a saturation in the podcasting world that everyone's seeing revenues are coming down, because I think there's too many podcasters. It's certainly not a scarcity issue. So a lot of the people that I watch consistently talk about how they're seeing down revenue.
Yeah.
And I think it's because it's kind of like the gig economy. It's gotten saturated.
Yeah.
People
and it's all manipulated. I mean, frankly, it's all, in my opinion, the whole thing is really bad. It's all fake market stuff that you're talking about. Most of the monetization comes from advertising. A little bit comes from subscription revenue, right? I don't know how they cut in each of those, but largely most of what they make is from advertising, and most of that is manipulated, that they can change the clicks, and they can, and they can say, hey, you're no longer eligible, which, out of nowhere. Usually it's political, usually it's some censorship thing, but not always. And then how they measure it changes. I knew a guy in Seattle that made 6 figures a month, and he had a channel, been going for years, and then out of nowhere, he was making in the hundreds, and nothing changed. The audience didn't change. It was just their algorithm changed, and he had no control over that, right? So
that's right. That's why I think ownership of your channel and shared ownership with your audience is the buy-in. It's the permanent hook, if you will, and I think that's the golden ticket. I like the rebranding. Rebranding, no matter what, I think it needs to be on the table.
Yeah.
And the DePlatform name, I like that. I do get it. I remember some people talking about, I think it was Rockstar from Venezuela actually talking about, we need a video platform, and there's a lot of people that just aren't that interested in politics. And we were, I think, probably talking more about politics with DePlatform and people who have been deplatformed because of their politics.
Well, and I'll tell you, I'm not going to tell you which one, but there is a crypto YouTuber that I remember I was talking to him, and I can't remember if this was before or after. I had the conversation before and after his whole channel was banned, right? I think he got it back. But I had asked, well, I mean, are you going to try to diversify? Are you going to, start posting elsewhere as well, just in case? So, so if this happens again, you don't lose it. And he's like, all my, subscribers are not subscribers, all my
followers,
viewers,
whatever.
They're all on YouTube. And that's where everybody is. And I'm like, will it always be? I mean, it's like, come on, give me a break. Can you not realize that once they remove your channel, you have no control there? You should have other options. I mean, you might still focus everything on YouTube. I don't discount the fact that there's more money there or something. I don't know. But why wouldn't you try to branch out, try to put, and part of the plan for DePlatform is, if we do that, it would be to put incentives in place so that people can test the waters, can essentially rebroadcast. And I think, I think some of the plan that we had was where there would actually be to come in as one of the first ones, and to get some of the actual platform ownership, that they would have to agree to post some amount of exclusive content every week or month or something, right? In which case, you would gradually get people over here, and that would be okay. There's exclusive stuff over here, and then when they get banned, or if they are already banned, many of the people that we would probably want to bring over, that would be where their audience goes. So I don't know. It's so hard because so much of it's fake.
It is. I know. I think, just me personally, I think people are so hungry for other income streams, and we need
Yep.
to, and because now they're not making as much money as they used to on YouTube, Rumble, TikTok, whichever, or all of the above. They're looking for alternatives, and
Yep.
that would be something that we could provide, because we're not going to be beholden to Google, who owns YouTube, or TikTok,
Yeah.
that has had its change of ownership for why, all those reasons. And Rumble's got its issues and never paid out very well anyway, except for the very top producers with
Yep.
exclusive contracts.
Yeah.
So it is opportunity there. It's just such a big lift.
Yeah.
With a big investment.
Well, I mean, it is. If we had the right partner, the biggest part of the lift, to me, the scariest part is the actual streaming. But
yes,
there are groups out there that have the infrastructure that we could probably, convince them to come in. The one group we talked to, I think, could possibly work as long as it was us doing the development. So we would have to, figure out the resourcing for the development work, but we could probably use their infrastructure. And so that gets rid of a lot of that.
right.
And, if we went the full decentralized route, we wouldn't need the infrastructure, but also we'd have to do a lot more testing, and, there'd be a lot more quirkiness about it, which is not what you need. So,
right. I think there's another thing we kind of talked about, explored it, but the library, all of those videos are still open to anyone that wants to tap into them and put them in their search engine and viewing engine, outside of Odyssey, because Odyssey's got a lot of limitations now.
Really?
Yeah. So that's something also to explore, and you can still write to that blockchain and post new videos to it. So you're really just calling up those videos and be in your own search engine and being able to play them. And so we could have a whole different tokenization. But again, you have to think about this being offshore, decentralized, because you're going to run into all kinds of issues with the US.
How do they do? That's the other thing too, is persistence. Anything that is, that is chain based, already out there, has some level of cost to persist it, right?
Yes.
So
you have to buy library tokens to post.
Yeah, right. But beyond posting, how long does it stay there? Does it stay there forever?
It's there forever. The issue is Odyssey has changed its search engines, and where there were things that were copyright or problems, like you can find full movies, a movie that you want to watch, you could find them, but now Odyssey doesn't. You don't find those movies now because they flagged them as copyrighted, and they don't come up in your search. So it's just fascinating. It's a whole fascinating thing, because, well, then again, why did DLive and BitChute, why did those progress, and why Rumble shouldn't have existed if DLive or BitChute was successful. And
they were too clunky. They, like, DLive was so slow. It was hard, to get it to work.
And it was with BitTorrent, right?
I actually can't remember how it was built.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think it was. But so there are different ways to skin the cat, I guess, how we say, but I love the idea. I love the idea. Just worries me is the heavy lift and then the advertising to get to it. But there are a lot of hungry podcasters that are looking to have ownership of their channel, control of their channel, free range of what they want to say, and self-censor, because on the platforms that they're on, they feel like they need to self-censor. And that's opportunity. There's a listening audience is willing to pay for some of that, even though there is subscription fatigue. So
Yeah.
I do get it, and I do understand with the economy and subscription fatigue that adds to it too. So
yeah.
Well, I guess the next we go on for hours on this conversation. I guess the next point is, while I'll just write up a 1 to 2 page summary of each of these, throw them up in the DENDAO for the next meeting.
Is there anything that we don't want released yet? Is the other question. Because they're and maybe the write up, if it's short, maybe it wouldn't even hit into any of that, because there are a couple of things that I don't want to.
Yeah.
I
tell you what, I'll write them up and I'll throw them by you before we post them on DENDAO. So because I'm not sure what you're thinking of. I have some ideas, but I'm not sure what you're thinking of. So I don't want to. I agree. We could run into some problems if we. It's kind of like letting the secret out of the bag if it is good and someone else will steal it.
And I maybe worry less about that than about if there's something in there that would somebody would I don't know, mess with the existing system, or I don't even know if it'd matter. Maybe it wouldn't matter at all, right? We're kind of in a.
You keep saying matter. I have to drink every time you say matter.
We're in a dormant state right now, right? So I think
we are.
Maybe it doesn't matter at all. So
we are. All right. Well, that was all I had. Let me go ahead and hit refresh. See if there's any other postings after mine. I don't think so. No. Whoops. Oh, no. No. Okay. So that is it for the meeting, unless you can think of something else, Joe, that you want to mention.
Nope. That's good.
All right. Well, thank you very much, sir, for joining in this week. Appreciate it.
Yep.
I'm planning on doing it at the same time, same channel next week. Again, Happy New Year to everybody who watches this after the fact. And remember, tomorrow is Super Happy Dragon Lucky at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 a.m. Central for the update for Dragonchain and all its subsidiaries or parts. Projects. Thank you. That's what I meant to say, not subsidiaries. And then 10 o'clock, the following hour, or 11 o'clock Eastern, is World Blockchain Roundtable. That's going to be a good one. The 2026 predictions, blockchain and current events. I got some good ones I was thinking about this morning while walking the dogs in the woods.
Sweet.
We've got some good predictions. You have to put on your futurist hat on, Joe, if you're joining us this week.
All right.
If you can, I'll certainly be able to cover it. So.
Okay. Right on.
All right. Thanks everybody for watching, and we will see you next week for the next meeting. Thanks again, everybody.
Bye.
On social media platforms today, quality content often goes unnoticed. On Den, users get paid for the creation, evaluation, and curation of quality content. Content creators are rewarded based upon the engagement and reach of their post or comment. Content evaluators are rewarded based upon the speed and results of their predictions about which content will trend or go viral. Community owners are rewarded based on engagement within their community. On Den, quality content pays.